What's up people, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Eamon Hassan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Now you guys already know from past videos that I really and sincerely hope we are not alone on Earth. Honestly, I feel like this world would be way too boring if that were true, and thankfully with our phones taking over our whole lives, some of us have actually managed to capture some pretty interesting things on tape that could maybe prove Earth isn't as boring as I think, hopefully, fingers crossed. But before I get into it, I just wanted to quickly shout out our new channel, Tier List Official. If you haven't seen it already, we rank everything and anything into lists, going from S being superior God mode to F as in get the out of here. It's pretty saucy, I'm not gonna lie, you should definitely check it out. But anyway, let's get straight into the video. This is the top 10 mysterious creatures caught on tape. Starting us off at number 10 is the GLOBSTER. So back in May of last year, a creature dubbed the GLOBSTER washed up on a beach in the Philippines. Now in the video of the creature, it seems to be a 6-meter long thing covered in whitish greyish hair. Honestly, even in pictures of the GLOBSTER, I can't identify where the head of this thing is and where the back is. It's just the same, I just don't know. It's just a giant hairy carcass that people speculated was an undiscovered monster from the deepest parts of the ocean. Many locals were worried by the creature, saying the arrival of something so unusual can only be a bad sign and that an earthquake may be on the way. Some even reached further and said it was a really old whale carcass, but I've seen many whale carcasses online and they never have fur or hair on them, and that much of it, no matter what stage of decay I've seen them in, but I'm no expert so I could totally be wrong. Either way, the GLOBSTER remains a complete mystery. Coming in at number 9 is DOBBY. Now I know this footage has been everywhere since it went viral in the last 2 weeks or so, but I too had to add to the hype and mention it as well. So a video was posted onto Facebook by a woman named Vivian Gomez, and the footage is basically from her security camera outside her home, which she says she has not altered in any way, shape or form. The video was taken during the night, and in it you see a tiny scrawny white figure with big floppy ears and wobbly legs walking through her driveway, and mid-video it sort of does the chicken dance with its arms. It just kind of looks like this. It's very strange. And yes, I think we've all pretty much agreed unanimously the thing looks exactly like a house elf from Harry Potter, and if that was in fact Dobby being a free elf, then I fully support whatever it was he was doing. But that also makes me really sad, because if house elves are just roaming about, then I'm clearly just a bloody muggle, and that just sucks. At number 8 we have the MONTAUK monster, and that's not even a clickbaity title I made up, that's actually what the news ended up calling it. So back in July of 2008 in New York, a creature was found washed up on the beach, and it freaked the hell out of everyone because no one had any idea what it actually was. Looking at it, honestly, it was this hairless creature whose skin sort of resembled baked chicken to me. The mouth was also strange, the upper lip was kind of shaped like a beak, and it had solid teeth. It also has a tail, so there's that, but it seriously just doesn't look like an animal you would recognize. The Independent newspaper speculated the creature was some mutant experiment that might have escaped from the Plum Island Disease Center nearby. Others took a jab at guessing what it was too, with things like a raccoon, but the proportions just weren't right. A sea turtle, but it had no shell, and turtle shells are fused with the spine, so that wasn't possible either. And people even guessed it was a dog of some kind, but the feet don't match a dog's. So we still don't really know what the MONTAUK monster is, and the best guess we have from a paleozoologist is that it's a raccoon with its upper jaw missing. Either way, the carcass was taken somewhere undisclosed by a random guy, so we don't even know where it is anymore. Filling our number 7 slot is the pseudo Loch Ness monster. I feel like some kind of Loch Ness-esque monster always ends up on lists like this, but anyway, in March of last year, Jeff Warren and his son found what they thought was the Loch Ness monster. They were walking along the beach at Wolf Island National Wildlife Refuge in Georgia when they happened upon the creature. Honestly, I mean to give them credit, the creature does look exactly how the Loch Ness monster has been depicted in the past. You know, long neck and tail, the 2 arm fins, and the sort of fatter body. Except the creature in the video is a lot smaller than you'd expect the Scottish Loch Ness monster to be. Like, if that one is daddy, this one is like a mini junior in comparison. I don't know what that analogy was or how I made that comparison, but I'm sure you guys get it. The creature also had a bit of its internal organs spilling out of its abdomen area, so not in the best shape, I'm not gonna lie. Marine scientists speculated it was a deep sea shark, but there appeared to be no gill slits, so that was ruled out as well. Now at number 6 is SLENDERMAN. Terrifying game, by the way, when you're playing it in high school like I was. Why do we just get pulled towards scary things? It's literally just gonna be the end of me, I swear. I'm gonna be the end of me by just wanting scary things. Anyway, either way, back in Jan of 2017, Redditor JHood3119 said his friend who lived in upstate New York installed a security camera at his house. A few nights later, his dog had been barking all night the night before for no reason, and he just wanted to, make sure everything was all good, so he went through the footage. In front of his house in the footage, you can see a very tall, very skinny creature with glowing yellow eyes hurrying on 2 legs across the snow and then disappearing into thin air. Like the camera was still panned onto the area, but it just full on disappeared. The dog is even in the camera footage, and you can see it turning its head and following this creature's trajectory before it disappears. The dude's neighbor is even out searching his yard with a flashlight, but they don't see the creature either. Which, I mean, I get because it disappears within seconds, but still, that's crazy. Coming in at number 5 is the ET jellyfish. So a submarine actually got this creature on tape 4,000 feet below the surface, and I kid you not, all I can say is it looks like a very high-tech black jellyfish. And now on the dome part of its body, it has a bunch of stripes coming down it that light up multicolored and kind of ebb and flow with how the creature moves. The bottom part of it looks like a black cloth, but the weirdest part was it looked like it was actually doing tricks for the submarine camera and trying to impress it almost. Which, I mean, I totally understand, we all have to seize our 15 seconds of fame wisely, so you do you, boo. But people have speculated this creature looks so high tech it could be extraterrestrial. What do you guys think? At number 4 is the spaghetti monster. Sounds like a very cute children's cookbook or something, but it's really not. It never is. Now this one requires a bit of backstory. Back in 2005, a physics graduate called Bobby Henderson actually started a church called the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. He did that to protest the idea of intelligent design, which is basically a theory that says you can explain the creation of life through smart arguments rather than actual natural occurrences. So he disagrees with that statement. But funnily enough, this fictitious parody spaghetti monster was found in real life living 4,000 feet deep in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Angola. A remote control device took the footage of the creature, which looks whitish or yellowish in color and just has a bunch of tentacles coming out of it, all of different lengths and thicknesses. The body of it looked like what our small intestines would look like if they were an animal, if you can imagine that. And experts who saw the footage said it could be a jellyfish of sorts, but I don't remember the last time jellyfish looked like that. Filling our number 3 slot is the horned sea devil. Now back in August of 2013, a seemingly never before seen horned sea devil was found on the beach of Villaricos in Spain. I don't even know how to begin to describe this creature to you. It looks like a long white Chinese dragon from the sea. The head of the creature had 2 yellow horns coming out, and its body was around 4 meters long, ending in a sort of serpent looking tail, but a bit larger. Samples were taken from the carcass to be tested by members of the Marine Fauna Protection Society, but even they had no idea what it could possibly be. Like, even the freaking experts don't know what it is, so what am I meant to tell you at this point? Some even speculated it was an oarfish, others said it was a sea dragon or water dinosaur of kinds. Everything inconclusive. Don't ask me about it, I don't know. Now at number 2 is the melting landmass, and honestly I titled this creature that because that's literally exactly what it looks like. Back in 2017, a gigantic floating carcass was found on the shore of the island of Seram in Indonesia. The fisherman who discovered the creature said it was so big he initially thought he had found a boat stranded in shallow water. When he got closer, he figured it was a 50-foot long dead creature that he couldn't pinpoint. The creature was different colors, parts were white, some were brown, others were moldy yellow, and it honestly looked like the flesh of this creature was just melting off its body. To make matters worse, blood was also leaking from the animal and making most of the coastline bright red, but that didn't stop the locals from getting in there to figure out what the hell it was. Now the chief scientist at the Ocean Conservancy said it was most likely a baleen whale, and that the decomposing gases inside the whale caused it to blow into an unwhale-like shape. Usually when whales die, they sink to the bottom of the ocean, but it was concluded that this one must have died with a bacterial infection that made it produce more gas, or it died in warm water which allowed more bacteria to gather than normal. Why do I sound like a scientist or a doctor in all my videos? I'm not qualified to speak like this. Either way, this thing looks like the furthest thing from a whale, so this is just false advertisement. And finally, at number 1 is Untitled. Honestly, I really didn't know what to call this one, so I decided to just keep it mysterious. This creature was seen in footage taken by 2 boys exploring a wooded area at night. Now, I don't know where exactly they were, but the video starts with them walking through this place in the dark and hearing very weird animal sounds from a distance. And the sounds just weren't of an animal you'd heard before. They were screeches almost, or like something was choking. It honestly sounded like a possessed animal, in complete honesty, I'm not gonna lie. When the boys finally get near to where the sound is coming from, the thing changes its sound and it becomes more of a hiss at the boys, but not a cat hiss, like a human hiss. The guys make a run for it, but turn back to see the creature coming after them. Now, the thing itself is a very scrawny, pale, human looking thing if anything, and I want to say it was a human. It was bipedal and had 2 arms and was coming after them, trying to get them with its arms, but it just wasn't really moving like a human. Maybe it was a very disturbed or deranged person living in the middle of the woods in a cave, I have no idea, but I would piss myself if I ran into that in a dark alley. Or a light alley for that matter, it really doesn't matter. And that's it for today's video, guys. Now, I always think I know things, and then I see footage like the ones in this video and I'm like, you know nothing, Jon Snow. But anyway, guys, comment below and let me know what you thought of all these creatures. Honestly, the one that freaked me out the most was number 1. Seriously, what the hell was that? Creepy, I don't want to think about it. But as always, I'm your host, Eamon Hassan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!